What's up, my precious little pack, and welcome back to VEGA Conflict. I was hoping the update, well, the minimum version push through would have happened on Monday or sooner, so I could have gotten this video out sooner. I'm literally, it's the dead of the night and I'm up just to record this, but I was waiting for this update. There's two things that were added. First off, the hangar module, which I will talk about in a later video today. There's going to be a few videos today, surprisingly. I spent yesterday farming up resources just so I could start building and upgrading. I'm going to coin the first one into existence and then see what time I can skip with the first little bit. I'm going to start setting up my base because I'll be able to have one set up and most likely fitted before the event begins, so I'll be able to use them. So I'll have to redesign how I've got my interior of the base set up just for this. But what I wanted to talk about was the Altairian ship. We finally have the blueprint, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about these two. We now know the name of the other two ships for the Marauder faction. The Tormentor, and it's standard. Now here's where it gets real funny for me. The Tyrant. It has the same squadron buff against damage against squadrons, so it'll be more effective against squadrons. Well, no, it won't, because they all take the same amount of damage from everything, because they have no built-in resistance that I am aware of from anything. So, I don't know what the point of this one was, because the standard suppressor is already that high-level combat ship. And if they say, well, this one destroys squadrons faster, it only depends on what guns you equip on it. But let's take a look at the Bastion. We got an hour and 15 minutes and 38 seconds of repair time for 9,075 hit points. It weighs 18,428 tons. Cargo capacity, 2,200,000. No. Yeah, I read that right. As I said, it's very late. I'm very tired right now. But 2,282,300 tons of cargo space. Standard movement speeds for everything. This is where it gets cool. The Firestorm Overdrive and cutter damage. It does increased damage versus cutters. That's what I've been waiting for. But there's something down here at the bottom that I just want to say is a little bit messed up over the previous two. This is directly giving them a bonus for anybody that gets them. This applies only to cannons, but they get a maximum range boost increase of 1,000 meters, and the weapon that comes with them is a cannon. It's an energy cannon. Let's take a look at this. Its damage per second is 310, except for it bounces and can chain to 7 targets. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. But now let's take a look at its Firestorm Overdrive. And this is only active for 4 seconds, but as you mark upgrade, from my understanding on the forums from what CM Chris has said, every time you mark upgrade, it increases the time. A lot of people thought it would increase the damage, the shield bypass, and the range. No, it just increases the duration. So you get more damage out of it just by increasing the duration. So that's a good thing. But it does 300% increased damage when it loses the shield. It does 40% increased shield. It does 40% shield bypass when it loses its shield. It gets 40% increased range when it loses its shield. I can see that being a very, very good ship against a certain tier that we already hate and fight. And that's the overpowered stuff that they typically hit us with. Now it's our turn, so if we lose the shield, which tends to happen in high-level combat, it will be just that much better. And they released the weapons, armor, and stuff like that for it as well, so we can take a look at the weapons here. And these are blueprint weapons, so I'm actually content to see these. The Epsilon Echo Ray. For me, I'm going to go for the level 1, and we can see the blueprint parts, so it's going to be a standard blueprint, but remember, a while back they said they wanted to introduce blueprints so people could work little by little at getting the blueprints they want. Now, I'm probably going to slash them across the face with this one right off the bat. They're probably going to say that the blueprint will cost more than the actual gun for another tier would cost. So let's say you have to pay about 720,000 intel to get another gun. Let's say you have to pay 250,000 per piece, which is a single blueprint, for the level 1 and level 2 of it. So, you know, you're going to have to get around 2,250,000. That's just a guess, because I don't know the prices yet, but I'm just saying that. And what I think they should do, along with being able to buy the individual pieces, did they do that for the whole 2? Oh, that's for all of them. But I'm looking forward to the ship. The weapons, those are going to be very entertaining to play with for me. The tons are around the same as what I already used, so that's actually, it's a jump up in weight, but not as drastic as it could be, because I mean, it weighs less than the Xeno. And its damage is almost on par with it. That's going to be a horrifying thing to fight. Their armor is also very cool. The Resonant Armor, level 1, level 2. I'm only going to get level 1 because I see no benefit in level 2 aside from additional health, but I don't see any benefit. It increases the shield energy. So whatever shields you have on there, it's going to be better against. Oh, and now let's take a look at the actual shielding. Spectral Shell Shielding. Yes, they're actually releasing a shield for it right off the bat. And look at the energy, except for this is something I don't really like. It reduces energy damage by 75%. So this is only for, like, if you go like this, energy reduction 50%, stuff like that. Well, Metaphase, it reduces everything by 50%. We're gonna have to get individual shield types to reduce specific shield damages. We're gonna have to wait until we can get another Metaphase that's resistant against everything. And it also adds counter chain. I'm only ever going to use the level 1 on here just because. Let's take a good look at the energy, the repair time. Look at the amount of friggin' health that shield has for that low repair time. 2,723 compared to, look at that, it's almost on par. It's literally within spitting distance, except for it's got nowhere near the repair time. So kudos to Kixeye for keeping the repair time low on that. And I mean, even the highest level 1 with almost 3 times the amount of shielding as a Metaphase 3, it still has less repair time. That's good. I'm going to stick with level 1 though, and I'm going to go with armor. And I didn't see a special. From what I see, they didn't add a special, so you're going to have to use your standard ship. And there's no booster for it. So the range you see there is what it gets, except for it gets boosted range because of the ship. So my guess is they're going to be very specific on what you apply to the ships just to have. But I thought that was pretty cool. And actually, I don't think there's anything else. And like I said, this one is kind of a joke because it wasn't needed because we already have the suppressor and it fills the exact role that they put this one in. Granted, this one has the 360-degree firing arc, but I mean, when you have a carrier and destroyers, you don't need something like that. But we got our cruiser. We got the statistics. We know everything in game. We know that as we mark upgrade it. And I can't wait to see what it looks like when you mark upgrade it. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to stay up. Actually, I'll go to sleep. By the time I wake up, I'll be able to start coining stuff, and I'll be able to make the next video to produce and upgrade. And right off the bat, level 1 stats, 7 minutes 30 seconds repair time. It has no armor and shielding at level 1 until it's level 3, then it gets armor, and level 4 is where it gets shielding. But at max, at level 15, it gets 3 armor slots and 3 shield slots, and each one only has 1 squadron slot. So in total, you go from, what is it, 8 squadrons, because I have 3 here, 3 here, and 2 here? Yeah, 2 here. So you go from 8 to, at max, you can go, right now I can go up to 12. You can go up to 14 squadrons in total in your base. Actually, I don't even think I have to redo my base, because I can only have 4. I just need to move the commerce module up. I can put the hangars there, and there, and increase. Actually, I need more on the sides than on the bottom and top. I'll have to think over placement of them, but an interesting new addition. I'd like to see how they fare. And I mean, they're squadrons, and I can't say that I'm lacking the certain squadrons I'd put on them right away just because, well, the certain wings, because I have, where are your little snots at? There you are. I have plenty of Spectre wings for everything. So right off the bat, I'll be able to increase my base's DPS just because I can build 4 of them. And I'm actually going to build 6 of them. That's with a bridge level 8, which I can't have, and a fleet bay level 14? Yeah. I think that's what it was. Let me check here real quick. Alright, first one is bridge level 6 and fleet bay level 12 for the level 2, level 7, which is the level 7, level 14. You get, that's where I'm at. Hold up, what? Fleet bay 14. Bridge level 7. Am I on drugs? Am I just too tired? 4. That's a 13. I'm not misreading that. That's not an I and then a V. It's not an XIV. That's XIII. Yeah. I'm not crazy. Am I missing something? Something blatantly obvious? Two with the bridge level 1. Oh. Okay, never mind. I'm just crazy. I know exactly what that means now. Tired me spaces out a little bit. Okay, what that is the fleet bay requirements, because you have to have a certain level fleet bay before you can upgrade to a certain level bridge. So that makes sense. I have bridge level 7, so I can have 4 hangar modules total. And only one, yeah, we already know 1 wing tech can be equipped per module, so that's no surprise. Alright, we got... This is the build times. In total, it'll take you quite a while to produce and upgrade a single one to the maximum, but I mean, most of the time they're never going to be touched because where they're going to be at in a player's base, you're going to want to defend them like you defend your bridge and your other squadron spawners. Ooh, that gave me an idea. I can stretch the base just a little bit further down by 1 because I can put them in the same position they're at, so I can complete the squadron defense on the bottom. So it'll be a full circle defense, effectively. Give or take a little. But the mass and stuff like that is where it gets interesting, because I can't think of a single fitting armor-wise or anything like that that will be able to use its maximum mass, because it uses 3 and 3. And my only guess is that we're going to get some pretty heavy wings in the future down the line at some point to equip on these and on our bridges, just because of the weight. Because I mean, it starts off small. I mean, that's no surprise. I could easily equip an interceptor squadron. Well, the Spectre squadron. After I upgrade it, and I intend on upgrading them until I can equip a single spectral wing on each one completely. So I'll upgrade them several levels. I'll probably upgrade them for about 24 hours for the time frame, because 24-hour upgrade time it would take to about around level 5. So I'd be able to put the Spectre wing on it without a doubt. Repair time. I can say that I actually like the repair times of these modules. Very low, except for when you start equipping armor and stuff. That's where it starts to get insane for the amount of damage it has to take to reach the thresholds of damage. Well, for it to lose and get the repair time for the base health. And I can't say that they're overpriced in terms of ore and matter and antimatter to upgrade. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to let you all go now. I'm going to start editing this video and whatnot and put it up. Well, by editing I mean slap a fade in the beginning and end. Because that's just what I do. But the next video I'll be producing it and I'll be upgrading it. And yes, like I said, I'll be using the coins up here. My commerce module should be just about ready to be upgraded again, right? That was strange, couldn't pick it up. I have to wait until that's done in a few hours and I can check. That should be just about ready to be upgraded again. It's been about 300 days roughly. All I have to do is blow the coins right here and it should be good to go. But I'm going to spend the coins on producing the module. I'm going to start upgrading the module. Because it'll take 2 hours for the first two levels, and it just so happens I have over 2 hours worth of coins saved up. So that was lucky on my part that I was saving up. But 2 hours worth of coins for 120 minutes, that is 40 coins, and I have 50. So I can do 2.5 hours worth of upgrades. And I'm continuing on with the low-level builds and stuff like that. I'm actually producing a Valhalla carrier that's fully fitted because I'm actually going to be playing with it. Oh, there's actually another thing I have for you low levels. I was talking about this fitting before, but it is the repeaters level 3 on the next tier ship. And I actually put cargo on there so they could hold something because I didn't find needing health all that often because they tended to kill whatever they fought. Okay, you guys are going to love this. Let's find level 27. And this is hilarious. Again, just like the first time I said that the fleet was going to die, they do die. Except for it's how they die that makes it amazing. And I'm going to partially control them to get them into a better position. Which cruiser do you think is going to die first? The Exodus or the Genesis that's behind it? The Genesis, naturally. Okay, I lied. I'm taking control. I want to win. That is the repeater ray, the repeating Polaron ray, level 3. Why did I use level 3? And that fleet just came out untouched. At max, they'll be able to store 3 million in whatever type of ore you want, and they'll be able to farm fairly easily. And just like that, I have 1 million more in mineral ore. But I'm actually enjoying them, and I wanted to show that off because I was building them, and then it occurred to me that some reusable items do have low fitting times. You can fit multiple amount of ship in the course of a 24-hour time period. The fitting I'm currently using for them, it'll take you about 16 hours to build unless you already have some randomly built RA Mark upgraded broadswords. But the objective was I wanted high damage on the ships. Well, individually it's not high damage if they're shooting a single target, but when enemies are clustered up, that's where the fun begins, because their damage changes from each target. And something else, since they introduced the ability for us to view everything and see what damage we deal to targets through chaining and stuff like that, I can now open up the repeating Polaron rays. The maximum chain damage they can do is 63 if it's not reduced. The standard damage for the first target hit is 29, so everything after that you just subtract out of it and you'll know exactly what it's going to be for the chain. But actually you have to add the two together because the first target it's hit is going to take the initial damage per second, and the chain damage is going to be each subsequent target. It can chain to 4 targets. And before anybody asks, can it farm low-level in-planet cargo, the planetary fleets? A group of 6 of them can. You have to do a double hit if you only have 2 of them. But for a fully armed fleet of, let's say, 6 ships, if you divide them into 2 separate groups, you'll easily be able to farm everything. And since it changed, they pick everything apart fairly quickly. And certain ships, because of their classification and how they close in so quickly, they immediately lose. So 16-hour build time fleets, but you're going to need the repeating Polaron race to start with for this fleet fitting. Come on, guys. But on average, they were doing about 50 to 60% of the total fleet's health before they all died off. And you just double strike, except for if you had all 6 ships, that wouldn't be necessary because they would actually win. And the repeating Polaron rays, you can get 12 of them, which is one entire fleet, ship fitting group, well, one entire fleet fitting of these ships in a single planet strike, except for the planet strike we currently have going on is not the one necessary. It actually doesn't have any reusable weapons. Yeah. However, that battleship wouldn't be bad to have. Neither with that. Neither with that. A couple free hulls wouldn't be bad. And one thing Kickside could do, we need to increase the points payout because the prizes there dropped by about 50%, but the payout was dropped by about 75%, so you have to work twice as hard as I said before in a different video to earn the exact same points value. But I'm going to quickly go over the prizes in here, because why not, I'm already in here. Volatile fuel. That isn't bad, especially if you're using missile-armed ships, because the increased AoE radius and the increased movement speed of the projectile makes them extremely viable when you equip anything, for that matter. You could equip vector torpedoes and stuff like that to battleships, and they immediately become viable because the missile will hit the target sooner rather than later. And a much more quickly killed target is always going to be better in my eyes. And then we have the Aurora Ray. Does increased shield damage. Gemini Driver, fires 2. I would recommend putting that on either cruisers or battleships, never on destroyers because of the range debuff. Well, it's the lower than average range for a projectile weapon. Spectral Armor, I can't see it being useful just because it only gets 15% resistance and it's only for that armor, so it'll only go up and you'd only get about 100 additional hit points worth of energy damage, so and not that interested. As for the tokens, depending on which ship type you get, if you go with the VSEC, the Zeal battleship, pick up the VSEC tokens. And if you go with the opposite, you go with the Dread, pick up the VEGA. And the one thing I want to do is I want to talk about how the module looks as it's upgraded. Right now, it kind of looks like a tiny carrier. It does to me, at least. At level 1. I could also cancel this right here now, and I could actually build the first 2 modules, and I could equip low-level energy fighters to them, because, I mean, the researchable ones weigh a very small amount, do they not, for the first wings we ever research? Yeah. And they scramble at 8,000 meters. Yeah, that's right, because these ones are 7,500. And something else that I realized about blueprints, for everyone who doesn't know, if you have one piece out of a blueprint, you can pay in coins to get the rest. I've noticed it for a while that you could do that. So anything you have a single piece for, and you may have money, you don't know why you want to spend it in game for any reason, you can at least buy the blueprints. And it's for any of them that you actually have. I don't have all the Spectre Squadron blueprints for the ships. I think that a disgrace on my part. Oh, I don't even have all of the Tempest or Storm Drivers. I'll have to make sure I get them. Maybe. Overrays, but like I was saying, if you have at least one part of a blueprint, you can actually buy the entire blueprint in here for coins. I wouldn't recommend it because the price of the individual blueprint parts is, let's just take a look here. I only need 2 parts. That's about $15. That's about $15. That means you could skip effectively 3 days worth of build time just to finish a blueprint for 2 pieces. That would literally take me about 25 to 30 minutes to farm the blueprint. And for the fittings for the other ships, I'll actually show off quite a few more, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the video here. I've been rambling on a lot. talking about a lot. But I wanted to talk about the Altairian faction. I'm actually looking forward to them and whatnot. I can't wait to see how they fare in combat. But that's going to be it for this video, everybody. If you have any additional information that I may have missed or skimmed over in my tired state, feel free to leave it below for everybody to see. If I may have misstated something or anything like that, say so below, please. And as always, I'll see you all later.